Hey guys, it is June 4th, right now on a Thursday. I just got out of my junior high school for the week. This is my last day for this week, but there will be many weeks to come.
Feeling like a real YouTuber here. Hey guys, hey, this is me. Hello. Hey, so I am trying to attempt a more genuine, natural narration for this video because I've been trying to write a script for it as far as what I wanted to say, but I feel like that has been very difficult to complete, especially with the schedule I had recently. But at the time of this video, I am on a 2-week break from school, so I have a lot of time to finish this, but I also feel like if I start on the script again, then that'll just be stalling. And by the time I actually get it exactly as I want it, then school's right back again. So what I'm gonna do is just naturally talk to you guys as best as I can about the things I want to address. Whatever comes to mind is obviously what's most important to me and what I believe would be important to you. So let's do this. If you haven't watched my previous video, Living in Japan During COVID-19, I would recommend that you watch that because this is basically a sequel to that video. Although I will give you a very quick recap in case you don't want to watch that video for whatever reason, or you already saw it. So I'm going to be talking about my time in Japan, more specifically an update on how I've been since I got here on March 18th, 2020. So that's been about 6 months now. I've counted that many times. It should be around that area. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about how I've been doing, living independently by myself, because there is no family around me to help me out. I have no Japanese family members nor any family that moved to Japan. It's literally just me. I do have a company that I work for that I could always turn to for guidance, like if I need help translating a piece of mail or trying to find the nearest doctor, I could always count on them. But otherwise, it's really just me, myself, and I. I have been living in Futsu, Chiba for the past 6 months around that time. And I have been working as an assistant language teacher / cultural ambassador for Japanese elementary school and junior high school. Now, my company states that I shouldn't release any personal information regarding these schools. I can't even take any pictures of the school buildings, their teachers, their students, the lunch, none of that. So you shouldn't be seeing any sort of media regarding that in this video. But I will explain to you my experiences while working there as far as other things that you might be interested in. So, all right, let's do this.
Hey, so it's July and I'm doing my regular errands on the weekend. It is Sunday and I am planning on going into this mall. Can you see it? Eon Mall. Eon Mall. The mall is actually not open yet. It's just a supermarket, which is what I really need. So I have a list that I have so I know exactly what to buy and not spend too much money. So let's do it.
So, how is Japan dealing with the continuing quarantine because of the coronavirus or COVID 19? So, I am no professional on this, so I will not be the all knowing being who knows the specifics on how many cases there are in Japan. I know there are a lot, but it's definitely less than what you may expect. Japanese people here, they are known for being very clean in general. So there's been no issue in having people wearing masks all around where they go. Like for me, it's just natural now. It feels weird without having a mask on. I even do it if I'm not even planning on going to an area where there's a lot of people. Like say if I just want to walk in the park by myself, I'll still put my mask on because you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know if somebody else is not gonna be wearing a mask and they like sneeze in your direction. I'm using as an example. So you need to always protect yourself, even when you feel like you're in a situation where you don't need the mask. Always bring the mask until they deem that it is safe enough not to anymore. But there's hand sanitizers everywhere. People are cleaning off your carts. Everything is completely sanitized, and it is highly stressed that we are all keeping each other safe. I really appreciate that about this country, that they are really enforcing that rule. Even if it might be an inconvenience to others, it could still save a lot of lives. And I feel thoroughly comfortable that I am here during this pandemic. The next section can be a little personal or a little uncomfortable to bring up, but I'm sure a lot of you may be thinking it, and that is racism. So, is there racism in Japan? And if so, has it been affecting me? I have not experienced it as badly as people have been anticipating because I've had a few people tell in my ear, like, be careful because they might say some negative things about you. And I could say I definitely got a few negative looks. Like the first week or two, I was on the train and there's a woman who noticed that I wasn't Japanese. Like she looked at me and then she just ran off to the other side. She just sat, like, say, this is the seating. We're both together. She sees that I'm not Japanese and then jumps right over to the next one. So we're across from each other. And then there was another guy who was just about to sit next to me, but again, he noticed my nationality, so he moved to the other side. And that's really the most amount of racism that I could have experienced. But besides that, that was just in the first week. Otherwise, I have been getting nothing but either indifference, where people just stare, but I can't really tell if it's like they're mad or like offended or whatever, or I get a ton of compliments, which I really appreciate. I have been called kawaii, very kawaii, especially by my students, which we'll get to later. I have been told that my hair is really beautiful and big, not just from the Japanese, but from my coworkers as well. They're like, wow, it must be really hard to maintain all that hair. That's about the gist of it. I can't really explain much about any racist tendencies that they may have towards me. Everyone, for the most part, has been very kind to me and respectful. But this brings me to a point that I wanted to mention, which involves colorism. I didn't experience any racist actions perpetrated towards me, but I share a group chat along with everyone else, every other ALT that is working in my region, and there are several who are of darker skin tone, and they have received negative experiences. There was one man who, on his first day in a class, one of his students kept on shouting the word gorilla, like gorilla, gorilla, like, and laughing about it, like through the whole class. It made me feel terrible for him. And since then, I haven't seen him in the group chat. It actually said that he left the group. So I'm assuming that he just left entirely, like he went back to his home country and stopped working, which in his case can seem very understandable. There was a woman this time. She actually took her experience rather differently, because on her first day, instead of gorilla, the kids were calling her chocolate, like milk chocolate, chocolate. But she found it humorous. She found it funny. And she decided to tell her coworkers about it, but they didn't find it funny at all. And they decided to tell the kid to stop, that was racist, and that woman who was called those names, then she felt bad that she told the staff that the kid was saying this stuff to her. And now she's mad that it was made into such a big deal, to which I disagreed. But I would have personally been relieved if someone, curbed that behavior right there. Because yes, it may not be offensive to you, but knowing the context behind it, why they're calling you chocolate, that would not bode well if they spoke like that to any other dark-skinned person. Like if they went to the United States and started like pointing at people and saying that type of thing, you best believe that there will be some complaints. When I hear about these other moments that happen to these ALTs, those who are from the same nationality as myself but of darker skin, it makes me wonder, if I were dark skinned like them, would they have said the same thing to me, like my own students?
My classes have been good. The students seem to like me. I was correcting some papers and one girl said that I was really, in her words, really gentle. So I must be making a good impression.
It makes me feel bad that I have the privilege of being called very cute and bright and nice, whereas people with darker skin are given more derogatory terms. Stuff that I have never heard in my entire life. So I just wanted to bring that up so that way you know, like if you are ever interested in going to Japan, that unfortunately, yes, there are some instances where if you are of darker skin tone, they might say some derogatory things or may look at you funny. Even if you are of lighter skin, like you might get a few looks here and there. But with the bad, there is also the good, because there are still a lot of people who are going to love you, that are going to be interested in where you are coming from, who are not racist, who know how to respect people of other cultures. And that's something that we should all learn to comprehend and put into action. So next is culture shock, and wow, So this is going to be speaking as someone who has lived in the United States only, born and raised, who is now living in Japan. So this might not relate to those from the UK or Spain, etc. Just from the United States to Japan. So the differences between the two. For one obvious difference, they drive on the left side of the road instead of the right, which, as a driver in Japan, that can be rather overwhelming because it's kind of like you have to relearn how to drive. You're doing your own personal driver's test, and you have to make sure to not hit anyone as you're remembering which road to drive into. If you are not a fan of things like makeup, nail polish, perfume, Japan is the perfect place for you. Especially as a teacher, because as a teacher or sensei, they advise you to not change up your look very much. So if you have curly hair on the first day of class, they expect you to have curly hair every single day. If you are a natural brunette, do not dye your hair pink next week. They just want you to stay as natural as possible. And that includes makeup, of course. So as you can see, I'm not wearing any right now, nor do I need it. But even if I wanted to, it's not really advised to do so because they really enjoy a more conservative look, a more introverted look, I guess. Is that but yeah, no lipstick, no eyeliner, no blush, foundation, none of that. They just want you to be your full, authentic self. The full, authentic sensei. So, you know how in the United States sometimes we do a thumbs up and then a thumbs down? In Japan, no thumbs down. This, not at all. According to what my company says, in Japan, when you do a thumbs down, that is not just saying no or you're incorrect. This is basically telling a student to go die. Yeah, like you hate their guts, basically, in the most PG way of saying it. So I would try my best to refrain from turning my hands down like this. Only this. This is okay. I use this a lot in my classes and I have gotten no flack because of it. But this, not at all.
You know, this is the first time I've been out this late in my car in a while. I think this is actually the first time because I was only out this late when I was walking, when I had to take the train to my training. And now it's kind of this surreal feeling driving at night when it's still like really hot. I think that's one of the best feelings you can have. I guess it's because I associate it with so many good memories. Like I remember my brother and I, we would go out late at night just to get some custard cups and coffee, or we'd go to Walgreens, or just, did we hang out at the park? I'm sure we did, but I definitely remember getting food late at night, just those late night runs, and it would just be like, hey, you want to go out? It was like, sure. Oh my god, and they're playing my favorite song. I am so happy I came out this late.
Now on to the fun part. The main reason I'm here is work as a sensei. So how is work here as a sensei? So to start off, to preface this, I do love my job. It is an amazing and once in a lifetime experience that I can never take back and I will never regret. I am in an elementary school teaching, like being the head teacher for 3rd and 4th grade. Now I specify head teacher because my job specifically lists me as an assistant language teacher. Assistant meaning that I am not the head teacher. But guess elementary liked me so much, they figured, hey, she has the chops to lead a Japanese classroom. I mean, I am flattered, but that was something that I wasn't expecting going into it. They're very nice, and I mean, yes, you have a few who don't want to listen, and by not listening, I mean like they don't really participate. English is very difficult for them, which is definitely understandable. I try to put myself in their shoes, where the times where I had to take my own language classes, and yes, I would participate, but I would also feel nervous about even saying an answer or getting something wrong. It's a totally new environment, something that you've never been introduced to before. I'm guessing with these children as young as they are. So I give them a little break on that, and I try to make my classes as fun as possible, even if it means I have to make a fool of myself. Think in their shoes. They are more nervous of you than you are of them. In a way, you have all the power because you're teaching them the lesson. You know exactly what those words say on the board. So for them to actually laugh in your class, that means they're enjoying themselves and they are invested in what you're doing. Always have like a positive mind. Just even if you're having the worst day of your life, just go in the bathroom, just vent a bit, breathe, and then go in as if nothing happened. So I teach 3rd and 4th grade in elementary, and I also teach 6th grade. But in there, I'm in my role as the assistant language teacher. So there is the head teacher, and then there's me. And then the head teacher is the one who's conducting the lesson, and she would be like, "Oh, Jenny Sensei, may you please tell us how to say this in English?" And then I would say the stuff. Or I would be passing out papers, I would be looking around the class, making sure they're doing their assignments. That is essentially what an assistant language teacher does. I definitely like the assistant role more. And can you blame me? I mean, I've never been a teacher before. I've volunteered at like daycares, for example, or programs with teachers, but I wasn't defined as a teacher. I was a volunteer. So this is really the first time that I am a teacher. And for young kids, nonetheless, kids that I wasn't really expecting to teach. And so aside from elementary, I also do junior high school and I enjoy them a lot. Of course, there are still those people who find English to be a very difficult language to comprehend. So sometimes they would just be sleeping or just staring there, like not really understanding what's going on. So you do check up on those kids. You definitely do. You don't scold them. If there's any scolding, it shouldn't be done by you. It should be done by the head teacher. And I have seen that a few times. But that should never be your responsibility. You could just check on them, make sure they're okay, keep a positive mind, and be sympathetic to these children. As far as being a teacher is in general, you have to learn how to be empathetic because you don't know what they're doing when they leave those doors at the end of the day. I'm an assistant teacher for all of them, all classes. So basically, same thing I do with 6th grade. And they really enjoy me a lot, especially the 8th graders, the ones that are about to go into high school. They have pretty decent English. If they don't, then they're very confident in their broken English, which I'm proud of. I'm really impressed because I was told that junior high school students are often the most stressed out and the most unenthusiastic about your lessons, but I've had a really good time with my 8th graders. And they're the ones that mostly call me, "Oh, kawaii." The boys, they say all that stuff, and when I say hi, they're like, "Hello." And with the girls, they try to speak to me in English. Like they would come up to me and it's like, "How is your day?" And I'm like, "My day is good." And they get all happy, like, "Eee." You could tell that they're really trying their best. And man, give them props. Like just anyone who tries to learn a new language, like give them props for even trying. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fluent. It could just be enough to have a simple conversation. That could definitely go a long way. So the last one is going to be family, more specifically my communication with my family. Another question you may have is, oh, well, Japan and the United States have very different time zones. How are you possibly able to speak to them? Very easy. Night and day. We have, I think it's a 12-hour difference, which means like, what time is it right now? So it's almost 11 a.m. at the time of this video. It's 11 a.m. here, and in the United States, in the Northeast, it should be almost 10 p.m. there. So the United States is an hour behind in a different part of the day. So if it's morning time here, then it's nighttime there, and vice versa. So I know if I want to talk to my mom in the daytime, like in her daytime, then that's gonna have to wait until it's my nighttime. We could video chat. I've seen videos of my family. She sends me photos, I send her photos. I make group chats with like cousins and stuff and send them stuff from Japan. Just photos of everyday things or things that they may be into. Stuff to make them feel just as immersive as I am. That was a short section. Yeah, I mean, that's the most I can say without a script. So yeah, that was my video, just giving you a update on how I've been here for the past 6 months. This isn't the end. I definitely want to make some more videos regarding this topic of being in Japan, whether it be learn Japanese with me, showing videos of my neighborhood, what else? I had another idea. Oh, I can't remember. So if you have any sort of ideas that I could make as a amateur video editor, please let me know and I will definitely consider it and it might come to life someday. No ideas too silly. I implore you, please send them my way. Thank you for watching this video. Please check out my other videos. They are, aside from the one about living in Japan during COVID, everything else is kind of like a random plethora of videos, but I would really appreciate if you were able to give me some views, some likes, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I will continue to stay safe here and respect the Japanese rules, appreciate their culture, and do a little exchange where I teach them English, they teach me Japanese. Thank you. I'll see you, and I hope you have an awesome day or night. Bye.